Alright, here we go again. Episode number 10. Let's see where this one takes us. So welcome back, or welcome for the first time if you're just joining in early on the journey. Anyway, I'm gonna start just as usual. For anyone that doesn't know, I start talking in the beginning of every episode podcast. I talk about football, and then I progress on to anything else, whatever the questions are that I've been asked. So if you're not interested in football, just go and check the contents. I always have contents because I'm very what's the word? I'm very knowledgeable in terms of YouTube and all that stuff. So I've put the content that you can go and click or skip forward or go to a different topic that is more interesting to you than football. So what I was gonna talk about today, relating to football, is something that happened. I had a player. This has happened a lot, many times to me since I've started coaching. I can't even count how many. It's when you have a player who's scared to make a mistake. They're so anxious and they're stressing so much about, oh, what if I make a mistake? What if I make a mistake? And today I had a player come to me and he said, I'm sorry, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should shoot or pass because, and I said, I knew where this was going. I said, so, do whatever you feels right. Don't worry about what happens. Well, yeah, but if I took a shot and I missed, then everyone's gonna be screaming and shouting at me. And then if I didn't, I'm like, what? Who shouts here? Well, no one. I was like, so who's gonna shout at you? Well, yeah, but everyone's gonna be thinking about it. I'm like, oh, okay, everyone's gonna be. That's a first. But this is just evidence. I've talked about this before. This is exactly why you shouldn't shout at your teammates. Okay, and you shouldn't moan at them. You shouldn't be one of those guys that is constantly complaining or unhappy or what are you doing or blaming all this stuff. Because the majority of people, boys and obviously kids, adults, doesn't matter, who play football, they're already, especially in youth football. Adults is a bit different, but in youth football, kids already they are already stressed when they play. Okay, it's stressful for them because they're not comfortable yet, and they've got something. They're too worried about what everyone else thinks of them. Okay, when you're a kid, you're very worried about that. Okay, how you're perceived, whether you make mistakes, what everyone else thinks, all that stuff. So shouting at each other only makes it worse. And how are you gonna get the best out of yourself if you're always panicking, and if you don't feel comfortable making a decision? You can't. So that's why you shouldn't shout and criticize your teammates. In my team, that doesn't happen anyway. I don't allow that. But still, it just shows you. It just shows you how important it is. It doesn't make anyone better when you're screaming and shouting at each other. But the problem there, I've already talked about being a good teammate. That's why. No one even shouts at my session. And this boy, he goes, he's still not confident enough. He was still struggling. The situation that he was talking about, he ended up just keeping the ball for too long and losing it because he didn't know whether to pass. He didn't know whether to, because he was kind of in a position to shoot, but he didn't want to shoot because he was too worried about missing. Oh, what is everyone gonna say? Oh, but they're gonna be shouting. So his fear of making a mistake and his fear of like disapproval made the problem so much bigger than what it actually is. He said everyone's going to be shouting. I said, but no one shouts. Even I don't shout. I rarely shout. Just only when I've said something 2 or 3 times and no one is paying attention to me, I have to shout. Or I have to shout. I have to raise my voice just to get everyone's attention. But shouting at someone doesn't usually happen. So in his mind, he's imagining people shouting at him, although there is no evidence of this happening before, and there is no reason for him to think that. But the brain doesn't care about that, your subconsciousness and whatever. You just imagine things. It's the imagination that gets to you. It's in your own head. So what I did was I asked him, well, so what are you gonna do? You think you're gonna be perfect then? If you think you're gonna play perfectly, and you're not gonna make any mistakes, you might as well stop now, because that's not gonna happen. I can tell you now. That's what I said. Obviously, I gave him time first to answer. I said, so then you need to play perfect. You shouldn't make any mistakes. Is that what you're saying? You have to be perfect. Are you gonna be perfect? And he said, oh, no. I said, so you're gonna make some more mistakes? And he kind of didn't know what to say, because I put him on the back foot a little bit, because I like asking those questions that I know have no answers. And I said, if you think you're not going to make any mistakes ever when you play football, or if that's your goal, you might as well stop playing football now, because that's never going to happen. You're going to make mistakes every single day. Even forget about football. In life, or in general, you're going to make mistakes every day. If you're scared of making those mistakes, that's bad news for you. Okay? The things are not looking good. So you need to learn to live with it, and to accept it. So this then kind of got me thinking about mistakes in general, and about fear of making mistakes. What people need to understand is that making mistakes is very important. Okay? And I'm not saying it's a good thing to make mistakes. It is a good thing, but it depends on your attitude towards making mistakes. Because there are people that they just keep making mistake after mistake after mistake, and they don't care. Whatever. That's not the point. The point is, you make a mistake, analyze, learn from it, fix it. You keep going though. You keep going. You make another mistake, analyze, learn, get better, improve, fix it. That's the attitude. You cannot run away from mistakes. Okay? You cannot turn. You might as well accept the fact that mistakes are part of life. Everyone makes them. Even me. Although very rarely. Maybe like once every 4, 5, 10 years. But even me, even I make mistakes. You have to take it for it's a learning opportunity. I was reading a book. It's called was it Bounce? No, Black Box Thinking. Black Box Thinking. And it's the whole book. It's all about the value of making and learning from mistakes. Okay. Obviously, after the mistake has happened, you need to have some sort of a, let's say, not even a plan, but in your mind, there needs to be a protocol for reviewing past mistakes, instead of trying to forget about them. When something happens, try and review it. Okay, go over it. Okay, what went wrong? Why? You need to admit it in front of to yourself. Okay, this went wrong because I did this, and you need to try and fix it. And the better you get at this, then at some point you will learn to actually admit your mistakes around other people. Obviously, to get to there, you need to get comfortable within your own skin. To do that, there is a lot of work that goes into it. But you need to be honest. You need to have an honest assessment, ideally objective, with yourself. Again, that honest assessment is going to come from reviewing. Difficult. I don't want to get off topic. Anyway, I don't want to go too far off. A review and fix. There is obviously in the book, the author he mentioned about different industries. In aviation, they really need to learn from their mistakes. Like, they cannot afford to make any mistakes. Imagine one mistake, the plane crashes, boom, 150 people die. You can't have any. You can't have any. So their process is so rigorous. Okay, I think that black box, black box thinking, the whole the title of the book came from this. I think there is like a black box on the plane that kind of records everything, or whatever it is. So they record the interaction, this, that, the other, and they're constantly looking, actively looking to get things better. What could have gone wrong here? What could have gone wrong there? Okay, and so many. And after every crash or every potential disaster there, close call or whatever it is, everything needs to be reviewed. Everyone sits down, they start writing down, this happened, that happened, I didn't think this, I didn't think that. Then they review the footage, then they review this, they review that. There's all panel. They get psychologists and whatever else, like professionals that understand how the brain works. They get them there to analyze potential pitfalls. That, like, some of the biggest problems, and I think there was an example of a crash. The pilot doesn't realize how low he is because he's looking. So I'm going to tell you the story from the book. The plane is about to land. Okay, as they're going down, obviously preparing to land. Obviously, they need to open up the wheels, landing wheels, when the plane lands, so it doesn't start sliding on the runway. Anyway, there is the light, the button that is usually on when that, I don't know, that is switched on or whatever. The bulb, I think, is faulty, so the bulb doesn't go after they press it. So they're, oh my god, the wheels are not, they're not on. Okay, one of the wheels is not working probably, or there is a problem. So they start going around, they go back up, they cancel the landing, so they go back up, they start circling around the airport just until they can see where the problem is. While they're doing this, I think they start, what happened? Anyway, I think they had to keep flying and they didn't have enough fuel. Basically, towards the end, I'm gonna skip it because I don't remember exactly. I don't really care about all these little stories. The pilot was so focused on what's wrong with that button that he didn't even realize how long he's been in the air, and that there was another problem, which was like, oh shit, we don't have enough fuel to keep going. We cannot land the plane because we don't have enough fuel. Okay, and we're gonna go and actually we're gonna crash. And there was like the assistant pilot or the engineer. They didn't feel comfortable telling him, forget about this, let's try and land the plane. If the wheels are on, they're on. If one is not working, it's not working, whatever. So they ended up crashing just because his assistant or the main engineer was not comfortable challenging him or telling him, hey, we've been in the air for so long. So this engineer that actually realized what the next potential danger is, which was a real danger, and they actually crashed because of it. And I think he survived, but then so many people. Anyway, only a couple of people survived. So he didn't say anything because he was worried. He just wasn't comfortable challenging the pilot because he said he tried to suggest what's happening, but the pilot, no, boop, boop. He cut him off. He didn't want to listen. And the pilot and the co-pilot, or whether it was just the pilot, he didn't realize how long they've been in the air. He didn't realize that probably like 30 minutes have passed while they were trying to. So he was so focused. His attention was so focused on this one button that wasn't actually working. Although everything was fine with the wheels. The wheels were fine, it's just the button was broken. The button, the light bulb didn't go off. That's all. It didn't switch on after it was pressed. So his attention, he had, what is it called? Basically like tunnel vision. Your attention focuses on this thing and you cannot notice anything else. So they brought in the psychologist after that big crash, psychologist or whatever the professional is that deals with this. So they started analyzing the whole thing. They reviewed the footage, and they said after that they changed the way they train pilots and everyone that's in the cockpit. Basically, they changed the whole training system because they cannot afford a next mistake. They can't just say, it's just one of those things, we did our best. We can't have that. So they need to relentlessly review what happens. So that's to do with the aviation industry. And then they gave examples with doctors. Obviously, I've got nothing against doctors. There is a lot of good doctors, but sometimes during, surgery or whatever, mistakes happen. Like it's part of it. But then they gave so many examples with doctors that they cannot. First of all, they're not comfortable being challenged. And second, then they can't own up to their mistakes. Because they're so, for them, accept, let's say I'm a bit behind on the doctor's terminology. Who is this surgeon, that surgeon, whatever. Let's say that the doctor in charge of the operation, he makes this decision, but then another doctor who is lower than him, who is just helping out, says, "Hey, I'm telling you, this is not right." So this doctor that is in charge to take that and to accept it, that's a big deal. That means he's accepting that his authority is basically put in question, and that's so difficult for them to do. And so many mistakes happen just because of that. But then these mistakes, they're not really reviewed as they're not really reviewed as rigorously. What a word did I just use? Where did I come up from? Anyway, they don't review their mistakes as much. They just, we did our best. It just didn't happen. And there's so many stories to do with that. And it's not just doctors. You can imagine this particular situation with people being uncomfortable, taking advice or being challenged from someone in a lesser position. Like for doctors, I think why they gave example, that's still from the book, by the way, with doctors, is because to become a doctor, you need to put so much work into it. You need to put so much work. And you need to study for so long that kind of your whole, I am generalizing. Everyone is different, of course. But it's so much work that for you to be challenged from someone under you feels like, who are you? Do you know how much I've done? Like her whole personality, your whole self-worth, more or less, is based on this. Obviously, that not all doctors, but in general, and this doesn't just go for doctors. Everyone that devotes their life to a certain thing, profession, or whatever, when you challenge him, it's going to be difficult to accept. Because what if they're wrong? What does that mean? That they've wasted so much time, da 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 da. So you have to have a positive attitude and mindset towards making mistakes, and you need to understand the value of those mistakes. Every mistake is a chance for you to learn, but if you don't acknowledge it, you're not going to learn anything. You're not going to learn anything. That's why some people say, now I'm going to give you the opposite, like the healthiest of attitudes is constantly look for a new mistake that you're making. Okay, some people even say, I'm looking to make more mistakes. That's how they put it. Obviously no one is trying to make mistakes, but if you really think about it, if you make all the possible mistakes, sooner or later you're going to bump into something positive. You know, I think it was Thomas Edison when he was creating the light bulb. He went, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just making stuff up with this one. I think I remember correctly. And he had like 100 attempts to make that light bulb work, and he failed 100 times. They asked him, "Oh, you failed they told him, "Oh, you failed 100 times. What are you doing? Like this is?" And he said, "No, I haven't failed 100 times. I've just found 100 times, like 100 different ways that it doesn't work, or something along the lines." But that's basically it. You keep finding ways that the said thing does not work. Sooner or later, you're going to bump into the one that does work, actually. You need to have this positive outlook. Mistakes, that's fine. Okay, that's not how you do this. No problem. Okay, I'll fix it. What's the next thing that I'm doing wrong? What's the next thing? Let me think about the next thing. And you just start doing stuff, and then thinking, okay, well, you need to accept it, especially when you're in an area where you have a coach. From my experience, at certain point, obviously, when kids, when they get to when they become teenagers, 15 or whatever, what, no battery? That's unfortunate. They start becoming defensive. They start becoming defensive. It's difficult to get to them. It's difficult for them to accept this and that. And when you try to correct them, but it's still so very important. Accept criticism if it's coming from a good place. Okay, if it's coming from your parents, okay, listen to what they say. Try to always have an open mind. When someone is criticizing you, this is good for you. If no one is criticizing you, that's a negative. Then you need to do all the criticism. You need to criticize yourself. Every time someone is criticizing you, take that as a positive. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, because every criticism is a chance for you to get better. No criticism means nothing is moving forward. And imagine, no one criticizes you. How the hell would you know if you're doing something wrong? How the hell, if you don't know if you're doing something wrong, how would you change it and make it better? It's just a dead end. So criticism is so crucial, so positive. Even for me, with time, that's all I'm looking for. Someone say, "Oh, that's no good." Oh, okay. So what can I do? If they want to tell me, good. If they don't want to tell me, I'm gonna go and start banging my head a little bit, and put in some work towards understanding what went wrong. I never go, Oh, what do you mean it's wrong? Defensive. No, I don't want to sound arrogant or whatever, but I'm way past that. Way past that. That's very defensive behavior. If you want to criticize, I would rather listen to someone criticize me for like 100 hours compared to someone praise me for 100 hours straight. Because what comes from praise? You feel good for a moment. Imagine if someone kept praising you. You stop listening, to be fair. Oh, yeah, further. But criticism, there is always a potential there to get better. Even if someone keeps giving you the same thing over and over, then you know you keep making this particular mistake. Fix it. I've said mistake a million times. Anyway, we're gonna move on now. We're gonna move on to fear. Because fear, they go together. Okay? They're linked. Let me just have another sip. Fear. You're scared. Oh, what happens if I do this and then it doesn't work? What happens if I take that shot and I miss? Oh, fear. But how I deal with fear is I start breaking it down. All these what if questions, I start answering them to the best of my ability. So I would start answering. Okay. Let's say what? Okay, let's say I'm a football player and I've got a penalty coming. Final, my team plays for a cup. I've got the penalty. I score. We keep going. Let's say it's like fifth penalty. The other team has scored 5. My team has scored 4, and I'm shooting the 5th. Okay. If I miss, we lose. If I score, we just keep going. So what am I thinking? I'm thinking, oh, I missed that penalty. Oh my God, if I miss the penalty. Most people stop there. If you want to be truly prepared, I would say think about this in advance. Clarify, answer all these possible questions in your head in advance. Then when the moment comes, you're prepared. For example, if it's a penalty. That penalty could be anything else in your life. It could be anything else. So ask the question, okay, what happens if I miss the penalty? I'm not saying you are going to miss it. Just say, what happens if I miss? Well, if I miss the penalty, what is this guy going to say? What is that guy going to say? They're going to say this, they're going to say that. My teammates are going to be angry at me and all this. And you start going this rabbit hole. So, okay, let's keep that there. Okay, this guy's going to be angry, this guy's going to be disappointed, people are going to think low of me. Okay, what's next? All right, let's ask the next question. Am I going to lose money? That's a real question. Sometimes money is on the line. Am I going to lose money? Yes. Okay, money is on the line. Okay, if I lose money, what's going to happen with me? Well, I might not be able to pay for this. Let's say I'm not going to be able to pay for my rent. I'm giving you, this is not a realistic scenario, but I'm just giving you examples. Okay, you can apply these examples to different cases. I'm not going to be able to pay rent. Okay, if I can't pay rent, well, then my family, blah, blah, blah. All right, that's big problem. Okay, what's next? Is something, am I gonna get injured, for example? Is my health gonna go away if I fail to do X? Well, no. Okay, I'm still gonna be healthy. Okay, that's fine. The people that I care about the most, are they still gonna be there for me? Yes. Okay, that's fine. All right. So then you've gone to the furthest possible place that you could mentally, with asking all these questions, what if questions, what if negative questions. Okay, deal with the negative. Positive, everyone can deal with the positive. You deal with the negative, you answer all those. Now it's time. All right, I'm gonna be healthy. My family is still gonna love me, hopefully. All right, so I'm gonna lose money, and other people are gonna think like are gonna have a low opinion of me. Let's say, okay, all right, let's start now fixing these two questions. Okay, I'm gonna lose money. If I lose that money, what is gonna be my potential next step? Then you find the answer to that. Okay, you find the answer. Well, I can go. I know this guy. Maybe I can go and work with him for a couple of days, make up the amount that I've lost. If just Anyway, the point is, I'll get money. I'll get money from somewhere. Am I willing to work? Am I a lazy person? No. Yeah, okay, I'll work. Even if I fail here and lose the money, I'll find a way back. I'll be okay. I'll survive. I'm still healthy. I still have my family. I'll survive. I'll make it work. People are gonna think low of me. Or can I control what people think of me? Can I completely? No, not really. So then what am I worried about? Okay, and you start understanding. When you break fear down systematically, you start understanding that fear is only imaginary. It's an imaginary feeling. It is a feeling in your head. Fear doesn't exist. Fear does not exist. You imagine fear, therefore you make it real. If you say no, then you're strong enough mentally. There is no fear. Where is fear? Where? It's only up here. You can break it down with just a sheer mental strength, or not even mental strength, horsepower, basically. Just brute force, mental calculation. Imagine maths, or like mental maths, or whatever you want to call them. Just the way what I just did broke down certain problem, whatever I was afraid of happening. I broke it down, analyzed it, and I came to terms with the outcome, and fear disappeared all of a sudden. All of a sudden, I'm breathing fine. Oh, okay, that's not that bad. Do you know what Wim Hof says? The great Wim Hof, this crazy person. Everyone calls him crazy, but then he's done all these amazing. For those that don't know, Wim Hof, he's called the Iceman. He's got all these records about doing all these impossible things to do with cold, like cold exposure and all that stuff. Swimming under ice for like 15 or 50 or 100 meters, a record for that. Like he climbed like 7,000 meters of Everest, I think wearing shorts and sandals, something along the lines. He was covered in ice all the way to his neck, and he stood in it for 2 hours. He was supposed to be dead. This is what the doctor said, in like 15 minutes or something. He didn't. Anyway, he did all those amazing things. And you'd think this guy's crazy, because when you listen to him, he goes, I can access my adrenaline system, whatever. You're like, what? What's this guy talking about? He's crazy. He's completely nuts. Then he goes, my sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, whatever. I can access them and control them. And you're like, what? What's this guy talking about? But then he does all these impossible things, so you don't know. Anyway, what he said is, I go to the code. The code doesn't wait. I go to the code, so the code doesn't come to me. I go to fear. Fear doesn't come to me. And he speaks all weird and everything, but this is very profound. Or maybe it was the other way around. I go to fear. Fear doesn't come to me. This is, I go to fear. I go to fear. It was really profound saying. I go to the cold, so I don't get cold. I go to fear, so fear doesn't come to me. That's what he said, word for word. Word for word. He's crazy. He's not all there. And he's the complete opposite of what I like as a person, or what I want to be as a person. You know, he's all zen. This type of like hippie. But I still read like 2 or 3 of his books, listened to him for a long time. You have to challenge yourself. But this profound, I go to the cold, so I don't get cold. That's exactly the same with fear. You go to fear, so fear doesn't come to you, so you don't get scared. Why? Because you decided to go there. It was your decision. You weren't forced there. When it's your decision, it's so much more. It's so much different. So much different. You know, I put myself there. I put myself there. No one put me there. That gives you a little bit of an edge, a little bit of confidence. Oh, that was me. That was me. There was something in me that wanted to be there, that wanted to see, wanted to test myself. So that's a positive. You need to take the positives from that, build from there. But you need to go. You need to go proactive, approach it. Whatever scares you, go do it. Not everything. Erase that last sentence. Whatever scares you, go do it. No. Challenge your fears. Right? Don't just go and do stupid things just because they're scary. If they're stupid, they're stupid. Just intelligent things that are scary. Okay? But just such a profound saying. You go to fear. Fear doesn't come to you. So taking that penalty, or whatever the problem was, I go to the problem. I break the problem down. Then I put myself there. See what I'm made of. Okay? I have the inner belief that I'll handle whatever comes. You need to have that belief. If no one has instilled that in you, well, I'm unlucky for you, but you need to be the person that starts building that up. And that is so motivating. Just when, with his broken English and everything, I go to the cold. That's why I don't get cold. I go to fear. So fear doesn't come to me. I say, I go to fear. I go to fear. It's so much less scary now. You go there, wherever it is that you don't want to do, that is intimidating. Go do it. Let's go. Let's see. Let's see what's that scary. You need to have that sort of a mindset of let's go. Okay, let's go. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what happens. Whatever the consequences, I'll deal with it. Okay? I'll deal with it. I'll find a way. I'll find a way. I'm not lazy and I'm willing to do whatever's necessary. If you have that mindset, fear starts going away. It's not the same. It's not as intimidating. It's not this mythical, imaginary creature of fear. Wow. You know what they say? Fear only makes the wolf bigger. Maybe. I'm full of quotes. Half of them are not exactly accurate word for word because I've read so many things, but that's like a German proverb. Or I think Nietzsche said it. But break these things. Let's answer some questions now. All right. Let's see. Is it better to be happy or have a purpose? That's not a bad question. So let's see. Let's break it down as everything else. Break it down. Break it down logically. Happiness, it depends. First of all, you need to understand what your definition of happiness is, okay? And then you need to understand purpose. What is your purpose? Anyway, let's start with happiness. Let's see what the definition of purpose is and what your definition of happiness is. Okay. Let's start with happiness. For me, happiness, I think I've been over this in a previous one. Doesn't matter. Happiness for me, and I'm quite accurate with this. Happiness is an internal state, not really a feeling. Okay, it doesn't come and go. Internal state of completeness. I was going to say fulfillment. A lot of things can make you feel fulfilled, but state of completeness, you feel like you've got everything. Okay, you've got everything that you could ask for. Okay, I'm not saying material things, because I believe it comes from personal relationships. So, and you've got all these relationships, because why? I've already been over it. Can you be happy by yourself? No. Okay, you cannot. No one can. If you can, then you probably need to go and check yourself. You need to go and check yourself. You probably have got you've got symptoms of psychopath. Okay, you might be a psychopath undercover. You cannot be happy by yourself. Imagine everyone on the planet dies tomorrow. You're the last person there. Can you find happiness? No. Okay, doesn't matter what you see, doesn't matter what you have, you're not going to find happiness. Why? Because what's the point of everything? What's the point? There is no point. Whatever you do, it's not going to matter. Why? Because there's no one else who is it going to matter to. No one. You. So happiness is in the relationships with other people. No other people means no happiness. Okay, you cannot be complete if there is no other people. Okay, you know who can be complete without no other people? God. You're not God. So, and to be fair, that's a good argument. Maybe not even God, right? I don't think God can be complete if there is no people. And I'm not, yeah. I need to check on that. That's a good. What an argument. Oh, guys, you just witnessed my genius come through. Maybe not that genius, but that was pretty smart what I said. I can't even, you know why? I'm gonna go off course a little bit. So what do I need to come back to? Be happy on or have a purpose. Anyway, so why I said what I said. Why I said what I said. God, I forgot about the religions. I'm not talking about God like Jesus Christ or what the different religions call it. God, as in terms of how it relates to logic, because you need to, at least when someone says God, okay, to me, I only listen to the arguments for God in terms of can it logically exist? All these arguments, not what the Bible said, what the Quran said, okay? I need to hear the logical, philosophical arguments, okay? Not the story and the tales, okay? And there are logical arguments, okay? There is the best I've read was, who wrote it? I think It was Leibniz, and it was called the uh, mono, monodology. Monodology. Let me check. That's a massive book. So big. When I read it, I was like, "Ooh, mind blown." Oh, Gottfried Leibniz. 250 books in, and I still remember Gottfried Leibniz, the monodology. This is about logically proving that God can exist. Logically, philosophically. That's the one. If you want to read something, read that. That's an outstanding piece of work. I'm not can't really say I'm religious, but I'm always willing to listen. I'm always willing to listen to all the arguments for, against, all the debates, religious debates. I'm always willing to listen. That's interesting to me. There is always something to learn there. So anyway, why I just said, can God be complete if there was no people? Okay, so I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Right? Most people would say yes, but then why yes? Because like one of the arguments is everything that exists is part of God. So if people don't exist, I don't know, can you go backwards in terms of completeness? I don't even know. Then you start getting into these mind-bending questions. What even is completeness? What would completeness mean for God? For something, let's say, infinite? What if just... It depends on the level that you look at. Even if we disappear, well, because the human race sooner or later is going to disappear. It will eventually die. Like, it's inevitable. It is inevitable. Like, let's say we go to different planets, eventually, as the universe keeps expanding, it's going to expand so far out wide, so far apart. It's going to get so far. The distance between galaxies and all that is going to get so massive, and between planets and all that, you're not going to have any possibility for life, to put it that way, because I can't really walk you through the whole process of what exactly happens. In short, the universe keeps expanding forever. Everything is gonna, all things are gonna get so far apart from each other that it's all gonna be just basically like nothing, just dark, complete darkness. Okay, so no possibility for life. I've read a book like 4 years ago. This potentially happens like in, let's say, 80 billion years from now. Anyway, we get to that point, no more life. Okay, and then I don't know what happens if we are all part of God. If the universe, obviously the universe is part of God, we're all part of this one thing, all encompassing, all power, everything, just complete being. We disappear, but then again, you think we disappear, well, where do we go? We don't really disappear. Obviously, we just, matter is being rearranged. We don't really go anywhere. But then you add onto that, you add consciousness. We don't really know what happens with consciousness. We don't even know exactly what it is. So that's so interesting. I need to I'm so happy now. I'm motivated. I need to read now. I need to go and read on, find the answer to the question that I asked. So let's get back to the topic: happiness versus purpose. So happiness, I already said, completeness. Okay, completeness. You have the relationships. You have a family. You have kids. Doesn't get any better than that. You cannot think of anything better. You have your family. You have your kids. You have your best friends. You have the best relationships. That's happiness. and then like you have all the material things, all right? Let's say you have that as well. That's happiness. Boom, you're there. This, I, what are the chances of this continuing forever and nothing? Something is gonna go wrong. Something is gonna be taken away, and maybe everything gets taken away. Happiness is gone for you. So is happiness constant? No. Is it in your control? No, because I can have the best family in the world. What if they have an accident tomorrow and they're not here anymore? What happens? What happens to my happiness? Am I going to be happy ever again? Unlikely. There's always going to be something in me, something missing. I'm not going to be able to fill that hole because I have the memory. I'll be fine. Maybe I get to 99%. That 1%, probably never there. Probably. It's possible for you to replace it. I don't know. But still, not. It's out of your control. Purpose, though. Now let's think about purpose. What is purpose? Purpose is, if you have one, it's difficult. So few people have purpose. It's something that you apply yourself to. This is my purpose. This is what I do. This is what I do. Regardless of anything else, that's my purpose. That's why I'm here. That's what I've decided to do. This is it. So that's something different. So just listen to how it sounds. Happiness, all these other people. Purpose, that's you. And I'm not saying it's selfish. I'm not saying it's all about you. No, purpose is about something more than you. It's still about other people. But purpose is in your control. You can still do it for others, but you do it. That's something that you do. So is it better to be happy or to have purpose? If you ask me, if I could, just to answer objectively, if I could pick one thing, but given that it can never be taken away from me, I would pick happiness. Yeah, because while I'm happy, I can still maybe find my purpose. But in this reality, I have to pick purpose, and I've picked purpose. Happiness for me is like a bonus. If I could be, if you ask me, do you want to be happy? I would say, yeah, if possible. But do I need to be happy? No, I don't really care about it. It's like a nice extra. I'm doing what I'm doing. If I can be happy while doing what I know that I have to, if I can be happy following my purpose, then that's good. If I'm going to be miserable following my purpose, then, well, unlucky, mate. I'm still going to follow my purpose because I do not care about happiness that much. Do not care. It's a bonus. So I'm going to follow my purpose. Whatever it costs, it costs. I've accepted it. I've made a decision. This is my purpose. This is what I'm doing. Can I be happy doing it? Yes. Nice. Lovely. Take that. No. Well, no problem. Unlucky. Maybe it wasn't for me. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. I'm prepared. If I'm not prepared, well, get prepared. That's my answer. Next question. The battery of my mic died, so I'm charging it now. It's a bit uncomfortable. I can't really move. If someone punches me, I can still slip the punch. Okay. I think I've answered most of these questions that I'm seeing. it better to be happy or have a purpose? If you could know the absolute answer this one. Does questioning ourselves help us grow or hold us back? Does questioning ourselves help us grow or hold us back? I've answered this earlier in the video, basically. Does it help you grow or hold you back? Question yourself. This is the essence of growing, is questioning yourself, challenging yourself, understanding what you're doing. You're not going anywhere unless you start doing that. And it seems simple, but it's not. It's difficult. It's difficult to ask yourself those difficult questions, the questions that you know the answer to. Some people, they can ask those questions. Oh, what am I doing? But then they don't have the internal drive, the strength to say, I'm not doing too good, and then say, well, I'm gonna change that. I failed. I'll go again. Let's go again. Oh, come on, I've got that. Still have the belief. Fail and still have the belief in yourself to keep going. That's the difficult part. And how you build that belief is you need to start change your mindset and become proactive. You start doing things, as I said earlier, about fear and about mistakes. Have this positive mindset, because then even if you fail, okay, even if you fail, you've put yourself there. So at least you can hold on to that one thought. If you've got nothing else, you can at least hold on to that one thought. Well, I put myself there. I was willing to do it. I was willing to fail. And in your willingness to fail, there is strength. You find strength there. If you cannot find strength anywhere else, you can always find strength in your willingness to fail. Because you are the one that put yourself in that difficult situation. But obviously, difficult situation, trying to achieve something or to do something. This is what I mean by difficult situation. You willingly challenged yourself. There is strength in that. You can draw strength from that one thing. And that's good. Another thing that I've learned from this podcast. I just came to this conclusion just now, because I've been thinking about this. Nothing has ever gone your way. Where is that belief gonna come from? Nothing has ever gone your way. Your parents, they haven't supported you. They haven't instilled in you that inner belief, that the ambition, the drive to do things. Okay, the mindset of being positive, being strong, dealing with defeat, dealing with this, dealing with that. If you've got nothing going your way, just that one decision to challenge yourself and to go to fear. You go to fear. You go to the challenge. You face it. And then let's say you fail. Like horrific, horrible failure. Badly. You lost. You embarrassed yourself. Still, the one thing you can hold on to is you can at least say, well, I wanted to be there. Or maybe a part of me, a small, tiny part of me wanted to be there. So that's positive. Always take positive. I was there. Yeah, that was a decision that I made, me. So there is something in me. I can hold on to that and then start building on top of this one decision. So just one little decision can make a massive difference long term. And obviously here we're talking about someone that starts from like nothing, from rock bottom. Most people, they have something. They have a little bit of belief. They have a little bit of confidence. Like they're fine. They can deal with failure a little bit. They can correct their mistakes a little bit. So that's even easier. even easier. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stop it here. I'm pretty sure I'm past 1 hour. So that was enjoyable podcast for me. I hope everyone else enjoyed it. Only one little bit got in the way. My mic died. Oh, Jesus Christ. Now I have to stitch the videos. But anyway, I'll stitch them. No problem. See, no problem. Problems, they come every day. Little ones, big ones, doesn't matter. As long as you know that you're not lazy and that you're willing to deal with whatever comes your way. Whatever comes your way, comes your way. If you've got the strength to deal with it, you're fine. No need to stress. I'm gonna deal with it. Gonna fix it. Not a problem. So yeah, thanks for watching. I sound like a YouTuber now. Thanks for watching, and that's it. That's episode 10. Didn't even think. I couldn't even imagine in starting that I'm gonna get to 10. But I knew inside I'm just not gonna stop. Whatever happens, happens. That's it. That's that belief again. Anyway, enough talking. Enough talking. Let's go do some things. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll be back next week.